hours of time to process all the pending triggers. In few days you may get 1 lakh pending triggers also. Few days you will get 20,000 triggers. Few days you will may get 10,000 triggers also. Right. Now if you execute our program with one thread, it is taking 1 second to process one trigger. If it is taking 1 second of time to process, if it is taking 1 second of time to process one trigger, then the performance is very low. So it is not going to process all the pending triggers on that day. Some triggers still will be in the pending. Citizens will not receive the notices. So performance is very low for this. Client is not going to accept this implementation because people are not going to receive the notices. Now, how can we improve the performance of our program? To improve the performance of the program, we need to process the triggers parallelly. We need to process the triggers parallelly. In order to process the triggers parallelly, one thread is not sufficient. We need to create multiple threads here. In order to work with the multiple threads, we are going to use multi-threading concept in the Java. Here one thread is executing, one thread is processing one trigger for 1 second. Here 10 threads are executing. 10 threads will process the 10 triggers at a time. After 10 triggers completed, again they will take the 10 more triggers and they will process. Again they will take 10 more triggers and process. So here in the first approach, for 1 second one trigger is processing, but in the second approach we are processing 10 triggers per second. If 10 triggers are processing per second, within a minute we can process 600 triggers. Within the hour we can process 36,000 triggers. Within 2 hours of time you can process 72,000 of triggers. If I change my program to 20 threads, guys, if I change my program from 10 threads to 20 threads, then what will happen? If I change my program from the 10 threads to 20 threads, then what will happen? Can I process approximately 1.4 lakh triggers per 2 hours? Can I process 1.4 lakh triggers per 2 hours? Guys, come on. So if I want to do more processing, then what should I do? Instead of 20 threads, instead of 10 threads, if I go for 20 threads, then what will happen? Instead of 10 threads, if I go for 20 threads, then what will happen? If I go with the 20 threads, then the processing speed is going to become double. If I go with the 20 threads, then processing speed will become double. So per hour, currently it is processing 72,000 triggers. It is processing per hour it is processing 36,000 triggers. For 2 hours it is processing 72,000 triggers. If I run with 20 threads, if I run with 20 threads, then 2 hours it is going to process 1.4 lakh triggers. Within 2 hours of time we can process 1.4 lakh triggers. If I run with the 20 threads, then I can process 1.4 lakh triggers per 2 hours of time. Now tell me, more than 2 lakh people will apply for a plan in a day? Guys, the state government, do you think that more than 1 lakh people will apply for a plan in a single day? Do you think that is it possible? No. Those many people are not going to apply for the plan. If they applied, then can we complete the processing in the same day? Assume that there are 3 lakh people applied. If 3 lakh people applied, how to process all the pending triggers at a time, all the pending triggers on the same day? If 3 lakh people applied for the plan, how can I process all the 3 lakh triggers within 2 hours of time? What is the solution to process 3 lakh triggers on the same day?
Raise the thread count.
Exactly. If 5 lakh people came,
then further spawn more threads.
then so is there any impact on the business now? If you process all the triggers on the same day, will there be any impact on the business now? There impact on the business now. If you process all the pending triggers, then there is no impact on the business. There is no impact on the business. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Now tell me, so if anybody asks you where you have implemented multi-threading in the project, now do we have the use case to go for multi-threading in the project? Do we have the use case to go for multi-threading in the project?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes, we have the use case to go for multi-threading in the project. We need to increase more threads here. We need to increase more threads here if you want to implement parallel processing. Now, how many of you know multi-threading implementation in the Java? We understood the concept, where to go for multi-threading and what is the advantage of going for multi-threading. If you run your correspondence API with a single thread, per second it is going to process only one trigger. If you process one trigger per second, it is going to take 1 hour to process 3600 triggers only. That is not accepted by the client. That is not accepted by the client. So client wants to process more triggers in the same day. So instead of running our project with one thread, we are going to run the project with multiple threads. For example, if I take 10 threads, then per hour I can process 36,000 triggers. If I take 2 hours, then I can process 1.4 lakh triggers with the 20 threads. So performance is increased like anything. Performance is increased like anything. So now, how to implement this multi-threading now? That is the question. We understand the concept. If you go with one thread, less number of triggers we are processing in an hour. If you go with 10 threads, we are processing more number of triggers in an hour. So clients are going to expect this kind of multi-threaded functionality so that triggers can be completed, triggers processing can be completed very quickly. Clients will expect this threading solution so that the performance of the application will be improved. The performance of the application will be improved. Guys, now how to implement this threading concept in our logic? How to implement this threading logic in our project? So go to CO API. In the CO API, here I have implemented the logic by using for each loop. I have implemented this logic. I have implemented this logic by using for each loop. Then how can I implement multi-threading here? That is the question. How to implement multi-threading here? That is the question. Anybody having idea in order to implement multi-threading? Guys, do you know all of you completed core Java? In the core Java, your faculty will explain what is multi-threading, how to create a thread, how to start a thread, what is start method, what is run method, they will explain you. With that multi-threading knowledge, can you implement multi-threading in this REST API? Can you guys try that? Can you guys try implementing the multi-threading in this logic now? I want to implement multi-threading in this logic so that it can process multiple threads quickly. Please respond, guys. Please respond. Can you try that?
We extend the thread class and then we implement the runnable interface.
Yeah, that is the concept that you guys already know. By using that knowledge, can you try implementing multi-threading here? Can you guys try that?
Yes, we can try.
Yes, so okay. So I will give you today's time for you guys. I will give you time for you today. How to implement multi-threading in the correspondence API. You guys try this because I'm going to explain the multi-threading how to implement in the tomorrow session. Before coming to tomorrow session, you guys try it on your own. If you are able to implement it, then it is excellent. If you are not able to implement, then you will learn that concept in the tomorrow session. If you are able to implement, then good, excellent. If you are not able to implement, then you will learn how to implement multi-threading in the project in the tomorrow session. Is it okay? Fine, guys. Thank you. So I have shared the screenshot also what we are going to do in the tomorrow session. So tomorrow I will implement a multi-threading concept in the project. So today we discussed what is the advantage of going for this multi-threading. Okay, fine.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So this is regarding the tables that we created. So when we auto create the tables, so when we create the primary key, right, the primary key, that's the ID. So
Yeah.
so if I have 6 tables in one database, so the way it is allotting the primary key is like, to table 1 primary key 1, so then one second record in table 2, so then primary key 2, and then
Yes.
third. So it is there is like it is how they are allotting the primary keys across the table. It's not using the sequence for one particular table.
Yes, I got your
So
point.
how to resolve this? Because this is quite annoying, because I have 7 tables in my API.
Yeah, got it. So here, for every table, you need to maintain its own primary key. Currently, if you see the console, internally it is using one sequence to generate the primary key. The common sequence it is using for all the tables to insert the data. That's why primary keys are shared across the tables now. So in one table, I need to start with 1, and second table, I need to start with 2. Not like that. So every table should have its own primary key. I will configure that unique primary key for every table. A good question, Angela. I will tell you that.
So
You
we
do
need
one
to
thing.
address this.
You do one thing. You have a annotation called generated value annotation is available.
Yes, sir.
In the generated value annotation, you do this part. Let me share my screen. As we are using MySQL database, in this generated value, you specify generation strategy as a identity. Okay, then it is going to generate unique primary. You need to specify this. Then your problem will be solved.
Okay, sir. So, sir, for doing this, right, we drop the existing
Yes,
tables.
drop all the existing tables and do this. Drop all the tables. For every table primary key, you add this identity generator. Then it will use auto increment internally to generate the primary key value. Drop all the tables and configure this.
And it will use the unique. It will not. It will
Yes,
not share
right.
with the
In a
across
table, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same table.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the solution for that.
Thank you.
Guys, now observe, if you are doing the implementation, then you are getting the problems, then you are solving the problems. If you don't do it, you will not get the problem. Tomorrow you will struggle in the company if you don't practice today. So this is a beautiful example. See here, she has done the implementation, she identified what is the problem. Now I gave the solution for that problem. If you don't do that practice, you will not get the problem, then you don't know the solution. Tomorrow you will struggle in the company if you don't practice. I don't know how many of you implemented all the APIs we implemented in the class. All the APIs I have implemented in the live. All the 7 APIs we have implemented in the live. I don't know how many of you completed all these APIs. And again people are sending a message, please share the APIs. When you will grow up, I don't know. After doing in the class also, again you are asking please share. If I give the assignment, if I don't explain, if you ask, then yes, okay, I have not done this in the class, that's why people are asking. After I have implemented in the class also, you are asking me to share the code. I don't know what is the benefit, what you learnt in this course. Please do it on your own, then only there is a use of joining this course. If you don't do this on your own, then it is waste of your time. You have to learn how to improve that coding, guys. Batch is completing in another 1 week. Completed major project, also implemented all the APIs. And first time I have implemented all the APIs in the project batch. In all the previous 8 batches of my JRTP, I used to give the assignment, they used to implement all these APIs. But this is the first batch I have implemented all the APIs in the live class. Because you are asking me to implement, I have implemented. In none of the JRTP batches, I have implemented all the APIs. I have implemented only 3 mini projects in the project batches. The remaining APIs I used to give assignment, they completed that implementation. But this is the first batch I have implemented all the APIs in the live classes. After implementing all the APIs in the live classes also, people are asking, please share the code. It's up to you, how you want to take it. Tomorrow I am going to tell you how to implement multithreading in the project. I will show you how quickly the triggers can be processed by using multithreading. So before coming to tomorrow's session, you guys also give me a try how to run the program with multiple threads. I want to run the program with 10 threads so that the triggers can be processed quickly. Thank you guys. We'll discuss tomorrow.